Hello, I'm Akito9323 and welcome to another episode of Digimon vs Pokemon. In this episode I am going to talk about superiority. Now, as we already know from my last video, again, Agumon versus Charmander and their evolutions, that even depending on abilities for Charmander or anything like that, there are other attacks Digimon can use which more than help against to defeat Pokemon. Their main weakness is that their battles only somehow end up in bruises and knockouts. A Digimon's battle, if you've watched quite many of the seasons now, usually involve the Digimon either being destroyed or being turned back into a Digi-Egg, which is basically in the sense they are killed, which is why their data returns to the form of an egg. In terms of superiority, Digimon has to be one of the stronger ones because they have access to our information. You can influence the forms of a Digimon with the Digi-Egg by implanting data. If someone came up to you and handed you the base data for a Digi-Egg and you would put it into your computer, it would create a Digi-Egg. But if you were to add more data to it, specific data that you created, you could essentially create your own Digimon. And depending on what kind of Digimon you create, you can create ones with no weaknesses to specific abilities. One of those things is I have created three in total, subspecies of Greymon. One because Greymon were my original favourites, and it was an idea for a story to create a past and future style versions, one involving high-tech machines, one involving old ruins and stuff like that. Now, Digimon also have the uncanny ability, with a tamer specifically, to digivolve to higher forms at a much easier way. While Pokemon, they take a while just to be able to get to a specific point in their life that they evolve. Digimon can digivolve because of their tamers, just by the emotions. Digimon have always been affected by human emotion. That's their main ability, their power. They are beings of emotion. They don't have emotions themselves, and because they are emotionless in that sense, they could be influenced by the power of emotions. It's something that they don't understand, and because it's not understood, it's something that they, with a tamer, will slowly gain and become more powerful. Digimon essentially grow normally through ways that any normal life would grow, survival of the fittest. Stronger Digimon will defeat other Digimon weaker or similar strength in hopes to become stronger, and the stronger that they get, they can evolve to their next form and become even stronger. That is their main life goal. They don't really have much other goals in that sense, except to survive. But Digimon with tamers, they no longer have that need to survive. that full need to survive, I should say. They do have the need to survive, but they have other ways of getting power, which essentially is the emotions of the tamers that use them. But if we were to put Digimon into our world, only a few at first, but nobody even knew they were there, they would be influenced by our emotions. We wouldn't even have to be their tamer. They could just be wild Digimon, untamed. But their connection to humans, in the fact that we have something that they are lacking, draws them to us, and depending on the first emotion that they feel at that time, that will be the one that they are drawn to. So if someone is angry and a Digimon is nearby, it will feed off of and it's only just arrived, it will feed off of the energy of the emotion of anger. But if the human's anger runs out, it will crave the angry feelings, the emotion of anger, and will look for more, which in turn will cause, depending on how much of the emotion it can find, will digivolve to a higher level and will cause problems. Because if a Digimon was to break through, it would probably be rookie at first, maybe a lower level, probably no less than in training, but then it would have probably evolved depending on how it survived in our world into a rookie and then into a champion level. At that point it would be in danger, because depending on what it digivolved to, it could cause a lot of harm. Say if, Gagumon or Ogumon were to appear, they would digivolve to Garurumon or Greymon, and the size of those two just by themselves are dangerous. But depending also on the emotion that they digivolve with, they could also dark digivolve. And dark digivolution is when the darker emotions, one being anger, grief, list goes on for those ones, they will basically cause dark digivolution. It's already a thing that you see in one of the Digimon Data Squad, where Shine Greymon becomes Ruin Mode, his burst mode being a dark version of the burst mode because of his angry feelings. Another form of dark digivolution would be from the original first season, when Tai gets pretty forcefully, out of greed, greed, not really sure how to explain it very well, but basically it's like he forcefully wanted him to digivolve. He didn't care about anything else, he just cared about winning. That was the only way to survive, and he clouded his mind of everything else and just forcefully put too much onto Greymon of dark emotion, of just wanting to win, not really caring about much else, that he dark digivolved into Skull Greymon. If I had a Digimon, I probably would have accidentally dark digivolved them God knows how many times. At times I get angry. It's not great. But at the same time, I believe in my own senses, not because I claim myself to be a Digimon master, but the whole part of that I've basically completed every Digimon game that I have ever played, and with very high level Digimon. And any of them that I'm still playing at this moment in time are ones that I've started again and have slowly stopped because either I've forgotten to play them or I just kind of got a bit bored and started playing something else. Now, there is one good thing, and one thing I have that I find rather nice is you can get a little Digimon keychain, but you can also get one for the computer, and that computerized one leaves you a little icon on your computer screen with a small Digimon on it from the baby form, which then takes an hour to digivolve. And basically, it's not like a hugely amazing game or anything, it's the original keychains, well, all you do is you battle them, you heal them, you can even, like, you have to flush, clean them, like flush whenever they have a crap, whatever you want to call it, whenever they, when they're hungry, just feed them. And depending on how you raise them, if you leave them with all messy from when they have a poo and so on like that, then they will digivolve into something not very good, because you've not raised them very good. And if you raise them well by turning off the light when they fall asleep and all other stuff, they will digivolve perfectly into what it is that you want them to, as well as you can change how they digivolve depending on when it is that they digivolve. Like, some Digimon will digivolve in the dark, as well as you have to fight a specific amount of battles just to get them. Now, there's a little cheat thing for the keychain one that allows you to fight with 2 of your own. So really, you can just get a terrible Digimon that you don't want, or just start a baby, and then just continuously use your biggest to fight the weakest. Some people do that. I have done that, but I've not done that in that sense. I have raised 2 Digimon at the same time to the champion level, and then had them both fight each other out. And just to be on the fair side, I have given them a fight ratio of 50-50. Because that way then they have the same amount of wins that they need to digivolve, but the losses don't really count for anything, which is good. That way then they can continually digivolve together, and it just makes it a really kind of thing where basically it's working together. That's what makes it feel as. Pokemon, on the other hand, you can't really do that. I also apologise for talking too much about Digimon as well, but it's, to me, it's a better subject. But Pokemon, some of them don't even have evolutions. I mean, yeah, the same as with Digimon, some of them can't digivolve any higher to a specific point, but that's only in their own line. They can find other ways around that. With Pokemon, you could say Dunsparce, Shuckle, up until several while later, Gligar didn't have an evolution originally. There's Miltank, Tauros, Mr. Mime, which now has a baby form actually. After, I think it was the 3rd season maybe? Either way, there's now Mr. Mime Jr. Same with Jinx. Electabuzz now has, and so has Magmar, now got a further evolution. But then there's also the issue with the legendaries. With Digimon, legendaries could start off as a simple baby Digimon, and they will grow into one of the legendary Digimon that are really powerful. One of the God Digimon, isn't it? There's the God and God-Man. Or sometimes they are named differently, but God-Man is one of the several ones that you can get. In Pokemon, you only have legendaries that are basic. They are born that way. They have no way of getting stronger, and no way of getting any weaker either. But they are limited only by that one form, which means that in total they don't really have much battle experience. If you think about it, they have overwhelming power, but the fact that they are legendary Pokemon and that they hide away a lot means that they don't really get a lot of battle experience, except maybe in their early lives. And because of that, that just sort of makes them weaker, because if I had any Pokemon, I would train it from the beginning. Starts as a basic, then to a stage 1, and to a stage 2. Then if it has a Mega Form, to that. Even though most of the time I barely use Mega Form because I dislike it. The whole idea of Mega Form, whether the guy says so or not, is taken from Digimon, because the ideas of emotions affecting the evolution of a Pokemon is the idea from Digimon, from the whole basis of Digivolution to begin with, from a tamer to a and from a company for the Digimon tamer. That is what it is. Mega Evolution is not really something that should have been created. If anything, they should have named it something else. There were many other names that they could have used. I don't really have to give examples, but they could have used anything. Mega Evolution just makes it too close to Digimon in that sense, and I really don't like using Mega Evolution. I see people using Mega Evolution a lot when you fight them, but it doesn't really have all that great a tactic. I mean, the only one I maybe ever Mega Evolved most would be Aggron, just for the laugh of watching them as I use Fling to send an item to my now Mega Evolved Aggron, and giving it an item which boosts its accuracy or physical attack. That's about it. That's probably the only other Mega Evolution I use, unless I feel like using Gardevoir, and that's very little now. The Primal Evolutions, they were good ones. That's what they should have kept it as, Primal. If they used Primal to begin with, Primal Evolution, where Digimon don't have Primal, that's what I was trying to go with. So, because of that, they could use Primal for Pokemon, and Primal Venusaur would just make it mean that it was a lot more of a thing. Or they could have used it as Origin, you know, like it was an original form of what Venusaur looked like. That could be it, maybe. There is one thing I want to do though, what I really want to do, is I want to start a Digimon roleplay. Now, the subjects for them are, I will also, if anyone was ever to, is I will put my Skype name in the comment below, and if any one of you feel like doing a Digimon roleplay with Skype, typing, not using webcam, one because I don't have one, two because I did, but it's happened. It will just be type based, but I will help you set up your characters. You can just use an ordinary piece of paper. The idea for it I already have. I just basically need players to do this. I would be thinking of doing a Pokemon at some point, but I will try and see what it's like doing a Digimon one first before I do a Pokemon roleplay. The Digimon roleplay will have some added Digivolutions in, some of my own little creations. One of them is Emblem Evolution. It is similar to Spirit Evolution, where they use spirits from legendary Digimon to Digivolve, but in this sense you have the crest or the emblem basically of one of the different Digimon families that there are, like Dragon, Machine, Aqua, Plant, Insect, the list goes on, and you can transform the human can transform into that Digimon, and if there are any Digimon of a similar family to their emblems that they defeat, or the opponents or your allies defeat, you can take on that form. You are not limited to just the one Digimon. Think of it a bit like the emblem becomes a Digimon encyclopedia for Digimon of that kind. Just by fighting it or coming across it, its data will be uploaded. You don't even have to fight for you to be able to turn into it, but of course that means you won't know anything about it, which means that you may end up being defeated or being badly beaten before you finally get the hang of what it is that you can use. It has its ups and downs, but it also has a little thing you can do. Similar to how it's been known for different things, it's been known to me most as Jogress evolution, which is basically the form of two Digimon fusing together to become something bigger. Emblem fusion. Two or more emblem users can combine their emblems together to transform themselves into another Digimon. One that is of all three of those elements, of those emblems. An example of that would be I can't think right now actually. Let's say Metal Greymon. Dark Metal Greymon. If you put Darkness, Dragon and Machine together, you get Dark Metal Greymon. And because there's three of them, it has a lot more power than an original Dark Metal. But as well as that is that you also have three people to come up with as the mind. Another Digivolution I created was the Unity evolution. Similar to the Biomerge, but instead of having two minds in one body, both the mind, soul and body fuse together to create a Digimon that has the memories of both sides, but knows itself as only one being. They don't say our or we or anything like that, it only answers itself as the Digimon that it is. This is the main one because I created my own little police force, the Unity Force, where Digimon would break through into our world as shadows, which would possess humans in the same sense as Unity, but instead it would be forced evolution. And they would corrupt that person to become their power, basically like a battery. And then once strong enough, they would digivolve into their higher form, and it would be the Unity Force's job to find them before that happened, or if that happens, to defeat them. This is where two of the subspecies of Greymon that I created would actually appear. I think that'll be all for now really. There is a third one that I created, but I would like to keep that one under wraps for now. Emblem and Unity themselves are pretty powerful. Unity is probably one of the more superior ones. You may think that it's copied from the original ones that I have explained from, but really I just sort of made them better, in the sense that I took the idea for it and I found the weakness and created a whole new form for it instead. Biomerge only though exists for turning the Rookie into the Mega, while Unity allows you to go from Rookie to Champion, Ultimate, then Mega. That way you don't, it doesn't have complete similarities to it. Emblem evolution allows you, depending on which Digimon you've seen or how well you have raised yourself with the specific Digimon that you start off as, can be a created one, but it has to be only of that emblem, where allows you to, as long if you know stuff about it and such, just its upsides are that unlike spirit evolution, you're not limited by the fact that people know about you. You're not some legendary tamers that will appear with the power to digivolve into spirits. The only thing that people know is that there are emblems that can be wielded by power, but for some reason nobody can use them. When it turns out humans can use them, then it becomes clear that humans are needed to save the digital world and the human world, because Digimon are making their way into the human world. Now, depending on it, the one I would like to do that is a roleplay would be the Unity Force, which would be, of course, the Unity Evolution one, where human and Digimon become one, and only one. Maybe we'll split, but yeah. If anyone has any liking for that, then please comment below. This is Akito9323, and I am signing out.